Equestria Girls, Friendship Games, the latest installment in the Equestria Girls franchise.
We're on our way, on our way, on our way to the Friendship Games.
You got the beat wrong.
I don't know, like
all the way, all the way, all the way to the Friendship Games. Na 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 na.
That does actually sound like a sports song at all.
Yeah.
It actually, you know, when you think about it, it sounds a little bit like High School Musical. They have like the same beat when you really like hear it.
Plus, you know, it's the vocals are often accompanied by, you know, a group of high school students.
Yeah. So
So yeah. Now that I think about it, I get some sort of High School Musical vibe out of it.
And before we begin, it's kind of like the information. For those, when you really think about it, you're probably wondering like the title, Friendship Games. From what I understand, Friendship Games actually was an Olympic sport and existed a long time ago.
Really?
Yeah. There was actually something called the Friendship Games, and it did involve high school, like people in high school, like competing with other schools. But for some reason, it got either canceled or discontinued after a few years.
So basically, a more realistic version of the Tri-Wizard tournament.
Yeah. And I'm guessing that this movie tries to bring back the Friendship Games, though I don't think it succeeded. Because, to be fair, I can understand why, because the movie's just filled with the hate between these two schools. So, where do we begin?
Not hate, rivalry.
Yeah. So, where do we begin? The movie kind of leaves where the last movie left off. Like, Sunset Shimmer is now friends with everybody. She's no longer hated in the school anymore. But now, for some reason, she decided to get a new outfit. Like... she kind of looks really, like if you looked at her really closely from her last design, she has different clothes on.
Well, actually, I think like, you know, if you pay attention to like costume design or you know, fashion, sometimes a change in fashion can reflect on a person's change.
Yeah, I can understand that, but don't you think we could have just gotten a little bit of a transition towards that? I mean, yes, she ended up being a good person by the end of the second movie, but we never really got a transition like, oh, I mean, technically, we don't even know if she lives anywhere, for one thing. I mean, just like Twilight, she's in the library. I don't, like I said, remember, she's a pony from another world still.
Details.
Yeah, details. So, I don't even know where she even got new clothes in the first place, so... Like I said, though, to be fair, before the movie came out, there was a few unreleased Rainbow Rock videos that actually put her in her new clothes. One of them was called Friends Through the Ages. That was the official one. Then another song came, and then the Rarity song, and yeah, it all went down. So, beginning with the story, it begins with the most awkward shot of Sunset Shimmer running towards the school, and you just see her by angles. Like angles of like her legs running towards the school, then a shadow, and then all of a sudden it leads up to Rainbow Dash and her broken guitar.
Mundane made awesome?
I guess. It's just because the last two movies opened something, like the first movie opened with a train, the second movie opened with a blast of light shining in the air, and this movie opens with someone fixing a guitar.
Maybe it's supposed to set the tone in how down to earth this one is compared to the other two.
In a way it's down to earth, but then it somehow just gets epic in the ending. I think, for one thing,
like notice how the stakes are not higher in this one compared to Rainbow Rocks. Because you know in Rainbow Rocks they have to face. They have
three kind of dragons, I guess.
Sirens. I mean,
Sirens.
Who tried to hypnotize everybody. You know, get their negative energy out.
Yeah,
and now it's just a rivalry between two schools.
And then I just started to realize that the third movie is kind of a rehash of the first film.
It is.
Where you because both characters, one character by the end, both turn evil. Like, all of a sudden, after getting some kind of magic, you know, element in their hand. Yeah, when you really think about it. Though, the second movie tries something different. Or, no, the third film, it is. So yeah, we see that Rainbow Dash needs to fix her guitar. Sunset Shimmer finds a guitar string so they can play for the Cameo Crusaders, as I call them. The cameo. They are. They are. They are not the Cutie Mark Crusaders to me at all.
I mean, what do you expect them to do?
At least something. I mean, help them out or give them a little bit of advice. Sometimes a character can do that, but they put them in this movie just for them to be seen. And that's not, and you might think, oh, well, they're background people. They're not background characters. In a way, they're main characters since they have their own episodes.
You know, there's already a lot going on.
Yeah, so yeah. So then they find out, Sunset finds out about this thing called the Friendship Games. So she decides to enter with her friends, you know, all the main six, but not all of them. Now, this is the first time we see human Twilight. And
well, I mean, properly
see her, because the last movie kind of ended a little bit like on a post-credit scene where we kind of see her, but the only difference is that in the second movie, I don't think they were planning ahead that we saw her in a lab coat and we think that she's some kind of scientist who hasn't gone to school yet. But no, and she actually has a school, but she's in the competitive school. And
yeah, and she goes to like some sort of private school. Considering that all the students have to wear uniforms.
I've been into those schools, and oh my gosh, it's just really hard to wear those clothes when you're...
Yeah, when I lived in Paraguay, you know, the two schools that I went to, I had to wear a uniform.
Yeah, it's painful to wear those uniforms when you think about it, because then you have to take them off, wear your normal clothes when you have to go out, because the school's not for a whole day. You have to do that back and forth, and it just gets annoying. I do wonder how she feels, but so yeah, we find out that Twilight in this world is kind of like Moon Dancer from Amending Fences. She has no friends. She clearly has not really been open to people at all, and she's more shy, kind of like Fluttershy. Only she's still incredibly intelligent. And Spike in this world does not talk.
I mean, he's a dog.
He's a dog, obviously. But then eventually, you know, something happens. So what happens is that Twilight is called into the principal's office to some Mrs. Hartwinnie. Is that her?
Right. No, Abacus Cinch.
Abacus Cinch.
Which sounds a lot like Atticus Finch from To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah, so she...
I don't get I don't get why... That's a reference.
And we see that when she goes to her office, it's like the cliche, let's have her be in the dark lights, where the shadows are like, you know,
yeah,
towards her face.
It pretty much wants to tell us she's the main antagonist.
Yeah, pretty much. In the first time you ever see her, you just see her like in the most villainous way, like, I'm the villain. There you go.
All she's missing is a Persian cat.
Yes. Actually, I think they were going to go there, but then they decided, no, wait, we want to make sure it's not too hinted. You've already gave it away that she's the villain in the first few seconds you showed her face.
Oh, and I guess we should talk about Cinch a little bit, because...
yeah. A lot of people say that she's not a very good villain because she doesn't really have too much of a motive in this movie. Because in a way she does have a motive, but it's not really explained well. There's no backstory, there's no reason why she hates Celestia or Luna or the school. She just wants her school to be the best.
Well, look, I've thought about this for a little bit, and I think she's a great villain.
Okay, explain.
Well, honestly, she cares so much about her school's reputation that she's willing to blackmail one of her students just to keep it that way.
Yeah, that's I mean, in a way that's wrong. I mean, she would get fired immediately after that. I mean, I just wonder why Cadence hasn't done anything. Oh yeah, Cadence is in this movie somehow. Like,
yeah, she's one of the deans.
She's one of the deans, and I'm guessing she never met Twilight's brother at all, because it seems like obviously this takes place in the high school. We don't even know what age they are yet.
Actually, they sort of interact. They were kind of looking at each other, which hints at a romance or something.
Hints. I mean, in the show they're married, but like in this movie, it looks like they're still kind of in high school. I don't know if, you know, probably he's in college. But you know, it's
or maybe they graduated college.
I don't know.
And are just staff members at the school.
Which is weird because we don't even see Shining Armor with a uniform. Then we get introduced to the copies, or how do I say, paste and copy of the main six.
So like
The rest.
So like the counterparts.
The counterparts for these characters. It's so obvious from the intro because before the movie begins, we see this little intro of all like who are the main cast and what they play, and both of them obviously are in a competitive move. We see which one is going to versus each other, and it's just like, okay, let's just hope they give them personalities. And
the only one I remember is the girl with the headphones.
yeah, actually that's become one of the most famous characters because they compare her to Vinyl Scratch in a way. Because there's even one scene where they do, I don't know, did you see that? They did deleted scenes of the movies because they just wanted to add extra voices, and they did like little bloopers, animated bloopers of the movie, and there's one scene where her and Vinyl Scratch are switching headsets of music, and it's really nice.
And we all know how much you love Vinyl Scratch.
Yes, we all know how much. There are a few other background ponies I like, but like there's Vinyl Scratch is kind of my background pony. Like that's
she's your waifu.
Waifu.
I can't believe I just said that.
Yes. Though I don't know, some people say that she already has a waifu and that's Octavia, but I want to see at least some sort of interactions that make sense until that happens. Okay, back to the subject. So yeah, we get these copy and paste characters. I obviously see the Rainbow Dash. I see the Rarity. I see the Pinkie Pie, and then
I'm guessing the headphone girl is the equivalent to Pinkie Pie.
Yeah, though I don't understand why. I mean, she's fun and exciting, but she doesn't really do much. And the obvious Rainbow Dash, her hair is just like extreme, and she has the goggles, and so obviously Rainbow Dash. And yeah, that's all we get from them. We don't get anything besides the main girl, who I think is supposed to be the Fluttershy, but she doesn't even act like Fluttershy. She kind of feels like something like Manny from El Tigre, where she kind of has a good heart, but also a mean-spirited one too. Like, she's nice in one way, but then she's angry in one other way. Like, I don't know her name. Something called Sour Lemon?
I don't know, but not every character has to be well-rounded.
But they could at least give them time to list a little bit of few personalities. I mean, they could have just said, they could have just done a few things at least that describe them.
Yeah, actually,
because that would makes it better. I think this is why people say that why Civil War was such a great movie, even though it didn't follow too much of the comics. That both these characters had motives. You know what they are. You know why they existed. So it feels more exciting when they fight each other.
Well, it's just they have to fit it in like less than an hour and a half, so
they managed to make Sunset a very well-known character in the second movie.
But you see, Rainbow Rocks was her story, so of course she's going to get a lot of focus.
Yeah.
But we're talking about supporting characters and minor characters. Just recently, I was watching Finding Nemo, and I still remember all the supporting characters, even the minor ones.
Yeah. You remember all their names. You remember.
Well, I mean, their names were not stated.
Well, and they were, but you don't.
Not all of them.
Not all of them, at least. But you at least know what they look like.
Like this buck-toothed fish with a lisp. I think her name was Kathy, or what else? There's one of the tank members, Gurgle, whose name was never said, but he's the one who's afraid of germs.
Yeah. So we get we get all these new characters, and just like it doesn't fit. Well, to be fair, I feel like it's the 3-movie curse. I don't know what it is, but every time there's a third film, it's not going to be very well written as the other films. Some of these movies have managed to pass the 3 curse, but not all of them.
Well, actually, I think Friendship Games has become like the definition of a contested sequel. where people are debating whether or not this is the best of the bunch, the worst.
Some people say that the pacing in this movie is a little off, which I don't think is really that bad when you think about it, because some movies can have really awkward pacing and it still can be a masterpiece. I mean, I think The Big Lebowski itself had such a weird... I eventually saw it. Like, it has like a weird pace, but you don't care because it's such a great movie that you don't care what pace it has. And I think that's what some people have issues with, that the pace wasn't as great as the second movie, but it somehow was better than the first movie. I mean, technically, yeah, it is, but I feel like this is my favorite of all the movies so far.
I mean, again, it's contested, or rather, debatable sequel.
Yeah. So continuing on, Sunset finds, human Twilight. She thinks it's old Twilight, and even new Twilight gets confused of why people are saying hi to her because she's never met them before. And then Pinkie Pie pulls her fourth wall humor on everybody.
No, rather her omnipotence, I think.
I guess, because she just decides to just put every plot twist into, like, everything.
Actually, one thing I gotta give this movie credit for is that they pretty much throw away the whole second-person confusion right away.
Yes.
Instead of, focusing on that.
That's always a complaint I've had with some movies who do that, but then eventually they just destroy that and just continue on where they're gonna go.
I mean, thankfully the main characters were smart enough to know that that's not the Twilight from Equestria.
Yeah, eventually they find out. And here's one thing I do really like is that all these main characters, because what I've always had a problem with the previous movies is that none of these characters, even the main characters, have anything to do. I mean, you can say they did something in the first movie, but in the second movie, besides Sunset Shimmer, they were completely pointless. It's like they didn't even need to be in the movie at all, because it was her story. She saved the day in the end. But in this movie, they actually put their use into what they could do. Rainbow Dash encouraged everybody to, be confident enough to win the friendship games. Rarity got the clothes. Pinkie Pie decided to bring everyone together at the party. And Applejack decided to give, Twilight confidence in herself, to try to do something.
I love that moment right there. We have two students, each from different schools, and one student actually decides to help a rival.
Yes. That's actually seen in a bunch of movies. I've seen them, but this one is done well in a way that I've never thought that could actually happen. They don't even say, hey, you get disqualified for that, because then that would just be really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, all of the main 6 or 7 or 8, I don't know how much there are now, but all of them actually had a purpose. They actually did something that was really good, and I love that. Fluttershy decided to give some animal love to Twilight. Tell her to I have these animals, and I wonder if I can tell you about them. And that leads to the point where Spike ends up talking in this one, I guess.
Oh yeah, because of human Twilight's magical thing.
Yeah, that's the one thing that's not explained. Where on earth did she invent that, and how on earth is somehow it connects to the the pony world?
Magic.
Yeah, we're supposed to believe it's magic, even though it's technology.
You have to suspend your disbelief in some
Yeah,
parts.
I don't know. It's just because in my way, this series of My Little Pony has destroyed all logic that I don't even bother questioning it anymore. I think it lost its logic ever since season 4. Ever since that season, so I just don't question it. So far, like I said, Twilight is competing with Sunset and the other school, the Wonder Cults and the Shadow Bolts. But when you really think about it, take away one part of their name and both names become the Wonder Bolts. Think about it. Yeah, so it's the Wonder Bolts, only they're separated between names. We see a lot of side characters be what they be. Flash Sentry is as pointless as he always has been. He's never going to get a damn character. And that's such a shame, because I love Vincent Hogg and what he does. I've seen some performances from him, And he's done these really good characters, and somehow this character, he just decides just to pass it on.
Oh, come on! Don't be harsh on the guy. First century. If anything, when he meets human Twilight, she doesn't recognize him, and he feels a little down. Don't you like the moment where
Derpy comes in, or Muffins, either way you can call it.
It's Derpy. I don't care if she's officially called Muffins. It's Derpy.
But she just comes to him and just pat him on the back, saying everything's fine.
She comforts him. I like that moment.
Yeah, I mean, in a way that feels fine, but okay. We get all these things. They're competing with each other, and yes, we get a awesome song. While that goes on.
You got nothing on us, na.
Yeah, we get these really, when you think of the friendship games, I thought they were going to do a bunch of sports, but there are actually a few things. There's bakery, there's science stuff, there's solve this equation between the smartest of all. In a way, I kind of forget sometimes that Sunset Shimmer has the same brain intelligence of Twilight. I keep forgetting because her design doesn't feel like she's incredibly smart. I guess, I don't know. And then I keep forgetting, she was Celestia's student at one point, so yeah, I forgot. But she doesn't have the equal brains. Twilight technically is still smarter than her in every way, but so then of course, she gets angry at Twilight at one point when there's the Olympic portion of it, and all of a sudden, she just, I don't know, that was the one moment I didn't like her, that Sunset just got so angry at Twilight just for what happened, even though she said she has no idea what's going on, and then she made her cry and run away. That's the second time I see Twilight cry. You do not make Twilight cry.
I thought you do not make Fluttershy cry.
Yeah, but in a way you don't make her cry either, because it feels so depressing when she cries. Because she's obviously not doing anything wrong. She's trying to help out or just try doing something. But then, it leads up to this final thing that they're going to do for the Equestria Games, which leads up to another song. But the ending is a little confusing because what on earth are they doing? What competition is in the end? Because by the end, we see them both on, chairs and side tables, and they're going in front of each other, just facing each other. I'm just are they actually gonna fight each other? Is this a competition of where they're fighting in Mortal Kombat or something? I'm just what's going on? We're just supposed to buy this because it just leads up to her opening her technology Jigamabob or something, and then a huge blast just comes up, and then she turns into, what's her name again? The Dark Twilight?
I'll just call her Demon Twilight.
Yeah, some kind of dark Twilight, and fans have been waiting for this for some reason. People have been wondering, when will there be a point where Twilight turns evil? I guess because Tara Strong has been known to play villains in some points, because everyone remembers her as Harley Quinn, and one point Raven in Teen Titans became bad. So I guess because Tara Strong is good at playing a villain, so they want to see her do a villain role. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, and she's played a couple of villains in Danny Phantom.
Yeah, so I guess they really wanted to see her as evil Twilight, so yeah, people did eventually get it, but they didn't get it as what they started out as. I remember many people were so pissed off that Twilight was people were just upset that Twilight was not an evil scientist who tried to take everyone out. I'm just this is a high school kind of drama that they're going for. Why on earth would they do that at all? People were disappointed that she was shy and everything, but then eventually in the end she comes up to, and then Sunset Shimmer ends up becoming Super Saiyan for some reason, and then they both have this epic battle, which is, it's the highlight of the entire movie. This epic battle of these two fighting each other, and it leads up to them just turning back to normal. And
I don't know, I found that kind of anticlimactic.
But it was so cool! I never thought that they actually could go Super Saiyan. And that's another thing that I have a complaint about.
Nothing can top the climax of Rainbow Rocks.
I can understand, but that's another thing I complain about, is that after they gave up the elements of harmony, somehow, from looking at Do Princess Dream of Magic Sheep, all of the main characters can turn Super Saiyan or Rainbow-fied anytime they want to.
Wasn't that like a dream?
Yeah, but like no, but like from an explanation, like a small explanation, we can see that they can turn into rainbow-fied ponies or Super Saiyans, I like to call them, anytime they want to. And so recently, they haven't done anything with their powers at all. They just decide to do what they have to do. It's like they completely forgot that they could do that. Like, there are some points in, like, the recent season that they could possibly turn Super Saiyan to scare somebody, to just tell them, oh, you know, we have these powers, so can you please not bother us? One point in Godland of Fire, they could have done that. Like, but, okay, so they both turn Super Saiyan, eventually, boom, a blast, they turn back to normal, and then all of a sudden, Twilight understands everything, Sunset Shimmer tells her to calm down and, you know, we'll fix everything, and then Mrs. Finch decides to be just rude to everybody and tell her, you know, everything that she's going to tell after what she saw here. And then we get that funny scene of like, oh, you just got owned because we tell you all this stuff. So you're going to tell the police. You're going to tell the police that there was a talking dog, two girls with imaginable powers that fight each other, and all in one day.
Another great thing about Principal Cinch is that, well, she just walks away with what little bits of dignity she has.
Yeah, and why do I feel like she's going to come back at some point, that she's going to say, like, I know, now that I know this, I'm going to try to find a way to prove it. Like, I thought they were going to go for that, but no, she just walks away. But maybe they're planning it for the fourth movie, which we'll get into at some point. So, yeah, they walk away, they all become friends, and...
Twilight happens to transfer to Canterlot High.
Because, you know, she realized her faults.
But wait, what grade are they supposed to be in? I thought they were like...
Like, they're supposed to be in senior year, but I guess... Well, maybe they're juniors or something. Maybe that makes sense, because since there's three movies,
no,
like, it would be...
Because I remember the first Equestria Girls, Sunset Shimmer was like the queen of the prom for like 3 years. It just confuses
me. So like freshman, sophomore, junior. So that would mean that they would be in senior year. Yeah, I guess maybe in their world they have like 7 or 8 years of school. I don't know. It's just, like I said, better not to question it because it's just a movie series. You might as well just go with it. Maybe technically it's their way of high school, or college, I guess. Maybe they want to stay extra years. Because, I don't know, whatever you decide. But like, okay, let's go back to the ending. Everyone's happy. Twilight realizes, I think she eventually is going to change her look, but she somehow is going to, you know, have the same glasses. From what I see from the next design of her, she's going to have the glasses, but she's going to have like the same one as the pony Twilight, the same clothes and everything. But like I said, all of them are happy, and then the camera, like, in a way, goes up, and we see the sunset with birds flying. That is the perfect way to end a good trilogy, and I felt that was the way they were going to end it, and I would applaud them. I was applauding them like, yes, this is a perfect way to end the series of Equestria Girls. But nope.
I didn't quite see it that way.
I don't know. I just felt like, because to be fair, it wasn't really started out that... It's like, the balance of it is not that... Many people find the second movie is like the best, but they still find that the first movie is decent, and they all have... Like, all these movies, no matter how good or bad they are, they all still have major problems in them. And, I don't know... You know what I've always thought? I always thought that some point, maybe in the future, they would reboot all of this Equestria Girls. And I'm not saying in a way that they should do it immediately. I'm saying that probably in future generations, they'll try to do something different with new characters, and they'll do the same idea, but actually go for what originally they wanted to do. Make it an animated drama. And... well, that's what the idea was. They wanted to make Equestria Girls into an animated drama, a drama version of the My Little Pony, because My Little Pony has different kinds of genre of adventure, this stuff, because knowing that they're in a high school and stuff, they wanted to make it more of a drama a little bit, And you know what? That's a unique idea. I really like to see that really realized. I'm guessing you have no idea if they could do that or not.
I don't think so.
So, like I said, I still feel like this is my favorite movie because, for one, it's more, even though it's standard, it's still like, I feel like is better well written, and you don't feel like anything. All the characters do, everything that you've wanted them to do ever since the beginning of the first movie. I feel like the villain is, even though it's not that great of a villain, I still feel like she does have a good motive in her way. Sunset's amazing, Twilight's amazing in what she is, like all these characters are great, and I just felt like it was a much more balanced movie compared to the last film.
Personally, I say it's on par with Rainbow Rocks, though. I still prefer Rainbow Rocks more. I do like the movie overall. I liked Human Twilight's character arc, and I thought Principal Singe was the best villain of the Equestria Girls franchise for the reasons I mentioned, a while ago. And I do like the songs.
There's less songs compared to the last movie.
Yeah,
Though, to be fair, the last movie was a musical kind of film. It does have Rainbow Rocks in the title.
Yeah, although the songs were, although I do like them, they were lacking that sort of spark to them.
That's something I admit. Even though I like this movie better, the songs in the last movie were way better in every way, because you remember every single note in your head, every single song, every single, everything. You still remember like Battle of the Bands, you still remember Shake Your Tail, even though I feel like that's a little bit of a ripoff, but like and you remember that friendship song in the end, Shine Like Rainbows.
Yes.
I still remember that song. You remember all these songs, and you felt so little with this one. But like I said, you don't need all great songs to have be a good movie. You can still be a good movie without so many great songs.
And there's something rather fascinating about the Equestria Girls films so far. It's focused on a different character each time. Equestria Girls was
Twilight Sparkle. The second one was Sunset Shimmer, and the third one was
I'm going to say this properly. Equestria Girls was Pony Twilight Story. Rainbow Rocks was Sunset Shimmers.
Pony Sunset Shimmer.
We've never seen the actual human Sunset Shimmer, so you know what I'm talking about. And Friendship Games is Human Twilight Story.
So yeah, we all did different stories each time. Now, right now, like I said, I thought this was going to be the finale, but no, they announced just a few months ago the fourth installment in the Equestria Girls films, which involves them going camping. I'm guessing this is going to be, here's my prediction. I think this is either going to be Fluttershy's story because she's the one with nature and everything, or from what there's big time rumors. Many people suggest that they're going to be teaming up with their pony forms in this movie. That's what they said. There's going to be like a kind of Twilight meets Pony Twilight, Rainbow Dash meets Pony Rainbow Dash. Every single character's facing each other.
Oh wait, the two Twilights met in the post-credit scene.
In the post-credit, yeah, they met in the post-credit scene, but technically we never see them really meet, really talk to each other, interact with each other. We just get this little scene of them just looking at each other. Imagine if they touched each other. That would have destroyed all time itself.
No, you're confusing that with time stuff.
What time stuff?
What
What about dimension hopping?
No, like you remember in Mr. Peabody and Sherman. If past and present Sherman touch each other. Oh man, that joke made me laugh. The universe would collapse or something.
Yeah, the universe, I guess. But what about other dimensional people? Would they do the same thing?
You've seen Doctor Who, right?
Yeah, but I've only seen the first 4 seasons.
No, but in season 2 where the Doctor, Rose, and Mickey go to another dimension.
Yeah.
And they meet alternate dimensions of people they know.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I guess maybe in a way. I don't know what happens, but it was just a little scene. Also, I think a lot of people were kind of upset that they kind of revealed the ending to season 5 because Twilight.
Oh yeah.
Because Twilight, while she comes back after hearing her, well, she's a little late. She comes back and saying, "Oh my gosh, I had to deal with time traveling. Oh my gosh, and Starlight Glimmer and everything." I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, you just spoiled the entire 5th season for us."
No, because something tells me that Friendship Games was supposed to be released after the 5th season, but scheduling and stuff.
Yeah, scheduling's really off in this show. Sometimes they have a hiatus, sometimes they wanted to release stuff. Like, we got 2 Christmas specials that were released way earlier than what we wanted to.
Yeah.
Like, the second one was released in November. The third one was, we will get to that at some point, but the third one was released in July. I think, no, it was, when was it released again?
The most recent one came out last month. In May.
In May, we got a Christmas special in May. I think it would have made more sense if it came out in July, because, Christmas in July, I guess.
Even I don't get that one.
Yeah, so I'm just like, we get all, like, a lot of the scheduling is confusing. And yes, originally they wanted to release this movie after the 5th season, but like I said, why couldn't they just take away the end post-credit scene and leave that for the DVD? Because then that would have been the release of when the movie, the season would have finished. Because literally, anyone who saw the post-credit scene in the movie, you just know the ending so fast of season 5. You obviously know from what Twilight's talking about that there was going to be time traveling and that everyone was going to be fine at the end because she literally come back after it. So you literally know that everything was going to be fine.
Yeah,
so there was no suspense to it anymore.
It did kind of ruin the tension for the season 5 finale.
Yeah, though, to be fair, many people just don't like the season 5 finale for some reason. Some people find it confusing. I mean, some people like it, some people don't.
Let's not discuss that in a Equestria Girls video.
Yeah, let's not. But like I said, yes, the 4th movie is going to be coming out, and it's called Everfree. It's called the movie called Everfree, and
something about Everfree.
Something about Everfree. I think it's the Everfree Forest because they're going camping, and they're gonna have like nature clothes from what I see in the screenshots, and they even released this little storybook where Twilight ever has her first sleepover with the rest of them. That's just something I just don't understand. Like, where do these people live? I mean, we obviously know that the rest of the main 6 have homes because we see that in some of the shorts we actually see that they have homes. We know where they live, but the only 2 we don't. Well, technically, I think we already know that Twilight has a home.
Of course.
The human Twilight. Yeah. The human Twilight has a home, but we don't know where Sunset Shimmer is. She could. One point of the comic book, I remember in a comic book reading, I think it was the holiday comic, we see her that she's in the library. Though I don't think that the comics and the movies are canon. I don't know if that's possible. It could be. But she's like in the library just like Twilight in the first movie. And I'm just wondering, where on earth does she take a shower or brush her teeth or anything?
I don't think about those things too much.
Yeah, we don't think too deeply about it, but in a way you're kind of confused.
You're one to talk.
Yeah, I'm sorry, just because it's... I mean, okay, in the most confusing animated movies, we get at least the simplest answer, and we get nothing for Sunset Shimmer. I mean, what we know so far is that she was a student of Celestia, but then she decided to leave to the Equestria Girls world, turn evil, then decide to be good again after the second movie, and then somehow she lives... I mean, okay... I could get the prediction that maybe in the first movie she was living with her boyfriend, who at the time was Flash Sentry.
I don't think high school students can live together.
I don't know. Well, I don't know. Remember, actually, technically, that's not true. There are some points where that could happen. I've seen that could actually possibly happen. But the second movie, one time we actually see her sleep over at her friend's house. But then the third movie, we get no conclusion of where they live.
You're dragging this on too.
Like, I'm sorry I look too deep into this, but I guess that's kind of the person I am. I tried to look for those little details that, I guess could get into people's heads, really, when you think about it. I mean, some people overanalyze towards things. Some people wonder why Twilight has all of this magical ability but can't take down some people. Like, she can somehow freeze 6 ponies, but somehow has a difficult time freezing over 50 ponies.
Hey, that requires a lot of magic.
Yeah, but somehow she can do this spirit bomb and throw it into T-Rex in seconds.
You do know she had, all the other princesses' powers to be able to do that?
Yeah, that's...
So your argument is invalid.
Oh, okay. That makes sense whatsoever. That makes sense. Yeah, so that's, I guess, the third movie. Like I said, I feel like it's my favorite. I feel like the movies get better and better over time. And obviously, I think we'll be seeing more. Why do I feel like we're going to see more besides the fourth movie?
You never know.
For one thing, I can tell you, we are definitely waiting for the official movie next year.
Yeah.
I'm doing a review of that immediately after I see it.
Yeah, I'll definitely do a written review on that when I see it.
From what I see from the screenshots and what's going on, it's going to be amazing from what I see. And yeah, I can't wait to see what they're going to look like in movie form. That's going to be really cool. Yeah. So yeah, this is Black Belt Dragon signing out.
CJF94 signing out.
Take care.